Seeing the Israeli military occupation up close in real life was far worse than anything that I imagined before my trip there. In Bethlehem, I saw the separation wall and visited a refugee camp that has housed generations of Palestinian families that were displaced since the Nakba in 1948. My day trip to Bethlehem started off by visiting Banksy's infamous walled-off hotel. The British artists created and opened the hotel in 2017, and it promises the worst view in the world as it's positioned right next to the Israeli separation wall. Similar to how racism shaped the construction of America's highways, racism and breaking up Palestinian communities shaped this wall. This wall has strangled the economy of the Palestinian territories, and the wall also prevents many Palestinian farmers from accessing their farmland. Although the wall was built in the name of security, it is a tool of racism, dispossession, subordination, and oppression. Before October 7th, every day 50,000 Palestinians would actually jump over the wall and head into jobs in Israel. The separation wall has been deemed illegal by the International Court of Justice. The wall was not built within the internationally recognized Green Line, which served to effectively have Israel annex that land which is actually supposed to belong to a Palestinian state. Inside the hotel, the art speaks to both the tragedy and toll of the Israeli military occupation of Palestine, both in the West Bank and in Gaza. And the hotel is home to a museum which takes visitors through the history of the occupation, and even precedes the occupation, beginning with the Balfour Declaration, to the creation of the State of Israel, the Nakba, and all the way to the present-day military occupation. My main takeaways from the museum exhibit at Banksy's walled-off hotel included: Israel is one of the world's most militarized societies. Arms and defense are a huge industry for the country's economy, and the industry plays a principal role in the country's economic policy. In contrast, Palestine has no land army, air force, or navy. The Israeli settlement program has installed 620,000 plus settlers in 200 settlements and 100 outposts in the West Bank and in East Jerusalem. The settlement program is illegal per the United Nations, which is the USA's official stance. The separation wall and the closure system is the primary cause of poverty and the humanitarian crisis both in the West Bank and in the Gaza Strip. Although the wall and the closure system were created in the name of security, Israel's own security service attributed a drop in suicide bombings since 2004 to a Palestinian-implemented ceasefire, not to the wall. Although protest and dissent are considered fundamental aspects of democracy, that is not the case in a military occupation in which these rights are suppressed. Protests by Palestinians are usually met with rubber bullets, tear gas, and violence from soldiers. Life in occupation is oppressive, and the objective is to dominate, starve, humiliate, and expel. For example, soldiers can barge into Palestinian homes at any time that they wish. They do so all the time in the middle of the night without the permission of the residents. Another example, people often flying Palestinian flags are hassled and intimidated. Israel is the only country in the world that prosecutes children in military courts. 500 to 700 Palestinian children are detained in military courts each year. A complicated permit system classifies Palestinians into different groups and controls and restricts their movements through checkpoints throughout Israel and Palestine. The groups include East Jerusalem Palestinians, Gaza Strip Palestinians, Palestinian citizens of Israel, West Bank Palestinians, and Palestinians in exile. For example, a Palestinian living in the West Bank has no guarantee that they can go and visit East Jerusalem, even though East Jerusalem is within occupied Palestinian territory. They have to ask Israel for permission to go visit. A lot of the times they don't get that permission. The demolition of Palestinian homes within occupied territory is illegal under the Geneva Conventions, but demolitions happen nearly every day. In Bethlehem, I visited Aida refugee camp. The Aida refugee camp was created in 1950 by the United Nations, and generations of families have lived here since the Nakba, which in English translates to the catastrophe. which is when over 750,000 Palestinians were expelled from their homes by Zionist militias to create the State of Israel. During the Nakba, 530 Palestinian villages were destroyed. The origins of the people living within the Aida refugee camp are from 35 villages from Jerusalem and the area west of Hebron. The camp houses approximately 3,150 people on 1 square kilometer of land. It is near 2 large illegal Israeli settlements. The separation wall is built right next to it, which limits job opportunities in East Jerusalem and Israel, isolating the camp. Additionally, residents of the camp regularly face incursions of violence from Israeli security forces. The camp's infrastructure is old and in poor condition. Water access, for instance, is provided to the camp for 2 days every other week, during which residents replenish their water tanks. However, the existing water network has not been upgraded since 1972, and the camp experiences constant water leakages. Per my guide who took me to the camp, many of the refugee families still have the keys to the homes that they fled or were expelled from during the Nakba. We saw this brought to life in the camp, in murals, overpasses, jewelry, souvenirs. The key has become a present-day symbol of the Palestinian right to return to the homes that they were displaced from in present-day Israel. In 1948, the United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 194, which has been reaffirmed more than 135 times but never enforced. And Resolution 194 states, and I quote, "Refugees wishing to return to their homes and live at peace with their neighbors to do so at the earliest practicable date." Today, there are 5.2 million Palestinian refugees around the world per Amnesty International. That count is up to 7 million per Refugees International. Per the United Nations, more than 1.5 million Palestinians live in 58 refugee camps in Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, the West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem. I will close with a quote from scholar Noam Chomsky. An old man in Gaza held a placard that read, "You take my water, burn my olive trees, destroy my house, take my job, steal my land, imprison my father, kill my mother, bombard my country, starve us all, humiliate us all, but I am to blame. I shot a rocket back." This video is an adaptation of an essay that I wrote following my 2022 trip to Palestine and Israel. Please share this video to spread the word, and check out the essays about my trip, which are linked in my Instagram bio. More videos to come. Please leave any questions in the comments, and thank you.